The last presenter for today is Fabian Rost. He is going to talk about water monitoring and automation from his experiences from HydroNeo in Thailand. Welcome, Fabian.
Thank you very much, Harrison. I assume you hear me, right? Okay, perfect. Because
we are hearing you very well.
As a technology startup, it's almost always very embarrassing if the sound or the video is not working. So I'm very happy that it works. So my name is Fabian. Today, thank you. My name is Fabian, and today I will speak especially about shrimp welfare. Somehow I found myself in the shrimp industry, and I founded HydroNeo in 2020. I could have not asked for better speakers before me. First of all, I think I can speed up things a lot because many points that you will be seeing on my presentation have already been said. But also, especially Dr. Ahmad, you spoke a lot about water quality, and this is exactly one of the points we as HydroNeo are doing, and what I wanted to speak about today. First of all, HydroNeo and myself, already said, I'm Fabian. I'm actually a shrimp farmer myself. We have a shrimp farm here close to Bangkok in Thailand. And I can tell you, shrimp farming is extremely tough. It is really challenging. And this is exactly the reason why in 2020, I founded HydroNeo. With a great team of around 30 people based here in Thailand, we have built by now the leading smart farm solution provider. And what we're providing to the farmers, to our customers, is actually a comprehensive, we call it a comprehensive mobile farm operating system. So our mission is to use technology and data to improve the farm's efficiency, sustainability, and animal welfare. And how are we doing it? We've developed a smart farm management system, an app-based, hardware-enabled smart farm management system that is monitoring water quality 24/7. This is really important. We're having a management app where the farmer not only can see everything, but can really engage in farm operations, in farm management, and gain a lot of benefits through that. What are the benefits? I will keep it rather short, but I think it's very important to understand. The benefits we're providing with our smart farm management system is at the end risk management. At any point of time, or especially towards the end of the harvest, you can imagine here in Southeast Asia, a typical shrimp pond being half a hectare in size, can easily have 30, 40, 50,000 US dollars worth of shrimp in it. So this is a lot of money, and it's especially a lot of money for the farmer, because at the end he or she has to invest over 3-4 months a lot of money in terms of feed, energy, the PLs, the stocking of the baby animals, the labor, etc. And only if the animals thrive and survive at the end of 4 months, the farmer gets the revenue and therefore hopefully the profit out. So I can tell you, shrimp farming in Southeast Asia especially is a roller coaster ride. You can make money, but you can also lose money. And we're talking here about 80% of production small-scale farmers. So these are families who rely on the outcome, on the performance of their shrimp farm. And that's why we as HydroNeo, we said we're building technology that is helping especially small-scale farmers, but also the larger ones, because especially small-scale farmers have been rather ignored by the industry, if I may say so, by the tech industry in the past. So we have developed our smart farm management system. There is studies by, for example, the Ministry of Agriculture in Thailand that state that using our system actually on average increases your profits, the farmer's profits, by 95%. So it's doubling the profits, which is such a huge number that at the beginning I didn't even dare to mention it. But it makes total sense because using our system massively increases survival rates, reduces energy consumption for aeration, and of course also transfers a lot of knowledge. So here, just a couple of screenshots, what we're offering, everything app-based with hardware-enabled management systems to track the performance of the farm, to log the feed inputs, log any diseases, for example, pictures, And then with our mini controller, with our IoT system, we are providing 24/7 monitoring of the most essential water quality parameters, for example, dissolved oxygen, temperature, pH. This means we're sending alert notifications if anything goes wrong, and the farmer can always react. Additionally, we're also automating motors to save energy. And by that, as I mentioned very quickly before, we're saving roughly 30% of energy costs, which means 30% less energy costs is what the farmer is interested in. But I think we as global citizens, we are also very interested in 30% less CO2 emissions through shrimp farming. In Thailand, we have proven results. We have many happy customers. We are still a small company, small startup, but already the number one in smart farm solutions. Hundreds of customers. I've seen customers here amongst the audience, so I'm extremely happy to see. And right now, we estimate that 15,000 tons of shrimp are produced with our systems in Thailand. That said, I always talk about shrimp because this is what we are focusing on right now, but we also have sea bass and tilapia farmers using our system because at the end, monitoring oxygen, pH, temperature is important for all. But now you might have wondered, why is this tech startup here and why is Fabian talking about shrimp welfare? Well, let's look into the key challenges of shrimp farming. And everybody has defines a little bit different. What is the key challenges in shrimp farming? But I would say the low survival rate. You have roughly somewhere between 50 and 60, maximum 65% survival rates on average. And farmers always say this is due to the diseases. Yeah, so you have quite a widespread disease situation that has started somewhere 10, 15 years ago and will never go away anymore. At the same time, you have the water quality issues. Dr. Ahmed already mentioned in Egypt, and Dr. Ahmed, I can tell you in Southeast Asia, it's not very different. Not many farms own water quality sensors. Having a handheld sensor and just going to the pond 1 time, 2 times, 3 times a day is not really sufficient. Anyways, the underlying challenge is as well, there's more and more market restrictions. The market is asking for low carbon shrimp, for certified shrimp, etc., etc. And of course, let's not forget the risk of farmers, but also the risk of whole exporting countries getting yellow listed or red listed if, for example, antibiotics residue is found, etc., etc. So farmers are part of an extremely complex global supply chain. And at the same time, farmers are hyper-local and very often the education is rather limited. And this, of course, is quite contrary and makes this industry so challenging. Now, talking about shrimp welfare, highly simplified, but this is on the left side, you can see an infographic that we use on in our marketing channels. We always try to bring across the shrimp welfare in terms of we compare it to us humans. When I speak to farmers, I always say, look, farmer, if you're treating your body very badly, Sarah, you mentioned earlier on there are cities where you cannot walk outside. Here in Bangkok, it was like that just a couple of weeks ago. If you have bad air quality, if you eat only junk food, if you don't sleep much, you work too much, etc., you get sick. So in my opinion, shrimp welfare is often overlooked, but is actually the root cause of many problems. The disease situation that farmers always mention as being the #1 threat to the industry is, in my opinion, to very large extent, actually just a symptom of lack in shrimp welfare. Why? Because stressed shrimp, especially due to bad water quality, have a weaker immune system, which means they get sick much, much, much faster. And on the other way around, if you have a high shrimp welfare, this is my really true personal belief, if you have high shrimp welfare, your shrimp are strong, healthy, they grow faster, and they grow much more sturdy. So at the same time, having strong shrimps, having healthy shrimps also releases the environment. That's why I believe farmers already do some shrimp welfare, but they might not call it like this. Here I try to build a little house, the house of shrimp welfare. And at the bottom, you see water quality, feeding, visual checks, and diseases. These are the 4 topics that farmers are taking care of every day. And now I translate it into FAI's shrimp welfare assessment. They have the groups environment, nutrition, behavior, and health, as we learned before. So I believe looking more into shrimp welfare is an overarching driver that can improve the industry. And at the same time, retailers and consumers, as we already discussed, are increasingly demanding welfare-friendly production. Here I have to quickly hold and say, I hope they don't only demand it, but they actually will also pay a premium for it. Because it's very easy for us in the Western world to tell or to say, hey, the small-scale farmers in Asia need to do more shrimp welfare. They need to, stop using antibiotics. They need to protect the mangroves. But you always have to understand who are the farmers and why are they doing it. Very often they don't know better, and/or they're lacking the financial opportunities to even invest in technology or to actually think about it more. So what are we doing? At shrimp welfare, we have partnered with FAI, extremely exciting for me. We are promoting the shrimp welfare online course all over the place, especially in Thailand, but also in some other Southeast Asian countries where we already have customers. We are always trying to share the news, all the global news. Here you can see it on the left that a major British supermarket chain is increasingly looking into shrimp welfare, etc., to show the farmers that this is really a topic they need to take serious, and at the same time that it also has benefits if they take it serious. So lastly, we have implemented the shrimp welfare assessment deep into our farm management app. You can see it. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but here in the center, in the screenshot, you can see shrimp welfare. This is, if you click on it, if the farmer clicks on it, the farmer can go through the shrimp welfare assessment and then get a scoring. As Sarah explained early on, it's a self-assessment, so the farmer can really be true and honest to himself. And why am I doing it, or why is HydroNeo doing it? Because at the end, we as a technology supplier, we can only be successful if the farmers are successful. So I find this a beautiful actually statement that shows that we all need to work together in this topic. Looking at the time, I will be a little bit faster. I wanted to show you a couple of screenshots how it actually works. So you start an assessment on an individual pond, and then you go through a series of questions. Here, for example, the environmental assessment. What is the oxygen saturation? And then the farmer can select. If the farmer has our IoT system, we already tell what the average value was of oxygen, or what the current value of oxygen saturation is right now, to make it easier for him. So this is also where it's beautifully integrated, the FAI shrimp welfare assessment and our technology. Similar to the health assessment, we help the farmer to pay attention to the details, and then the farmer can select where he or she sees challenges or not. And then at the end, of course, there's a score, and you can compare it. Now, looking at the challenges. The challenges, implementing change is never easy. Shrimp farming technology, building a technology company for the shrimp farming industry, this is nothing you do to get rich quickly. You really need to do it with passion, and you need to understand it's a marathon, it's an ultra marathon, because there's many challenges. Many farmers, for example, now to give you some feedback or some observations really out of the market here in Thailand, many farmers say, I already take good care of my animals. I think everything is fine. And here you have to understand again, we're talking mostly small-scale shrimp farmers. Their main focus is to provide for their families. And as we already discussed before as well, shrimps, they don't cry, they cannot complain, they cannot make noises if they're not doing well. So it's really, really difficult for a farmer to assess what the welfare right now is. Even taking shrimps out and looking at them is not as easy as it would be with terrestrial animals. Another challenge, in Asia, small-scale farmers always also having to think about their liquidity situation. They're trying to outrun the diseases. What do I mean by that? They prioritize fast growth, and sometimes this leads to the fact that they are not as much paying attention to the best practices. This is unfortunate, and needs to change, but this is also culturally with a more rather shorter time horizon in their daily lives. Also, from my personal experience, I must say the feed companies and the chemical, like mineral companies, etc., the supplying companies, they have spoiled the small-scale farmers in the past 10 years or 20 years, and that might sound weird to some in the audience that have never been to an Asian shrimp farm. The feed companies as a service, they send farm technicians once a week or maybe twice a week and check for water quality. And they use it as a sales technique. They say, if you buy so and so many tons of feed, I will send a farm technician once or twice a week. And this over 10 years, maybe over 20 years, led to the fact that farmers kind of forgot that they are responsible for their water quality and not the supplying companies. So for us, this is what we are always trying to say with our 24/7 monitoring. There's enough reasons. There's massive benefits of using 24/7 monitoring. Farmers should do it. It only helps them. And by that also, we always say, take back control over your own shrimp farm. You need to do that to be and stay successful. Then lastly, as I mentioned before, buyers increasingly care about welfare, but the question is, are they also willing to pay for it? Because at the end, farmers don't have enough money to do things just out of the goodness of their heart. That's why we need to also financially incentivize paying more attention on animal welfare, especially when talking about the small-scale farmers, which make up actually the majority of all production. So how do we overcome these challenges, short and long term? I only have two, but I'm sure there's hundreds more. I would say more education. Understanding, if the farmer understands that welfare, the animal welfare, has a direct link to his or her profitability, they will have a completely different approach to it. So it needs to be a win-win-win situation. And secondly, as I mentioned now several times, show that the market cares about it. Right now, in our own research and development farm, we are not using antibiotics. Not at all. This makes our life much more difficult, I can tell you, but it actually does not get appreciated by the buyers. We get the same price as every other shrimp farm. And this is something where the market segmentation, or how the market is structured with all the small-scale farmers is challenging. But here I would say, I would hope that the large buyers of shrimp also start to look more into differentiating the product, so that shrimp is not shrimp, but there's different grades of quality, or much more observable, much more obvious. However, there's also many, many positive success cases. Here, for example, I present you one of our extremely happy customers, Farmer Tanonsak. He also provided me with his FAI shrimp welfare certificate. And I don't know if you see it very well, but he has a rather large Vannemai shrimp on his hand, and that's why he's so happy. And he said that the online course, provided him with a comprehensive understanding of what is important. And also, he said he had all of his workers get certified as well. And then, through weekly assessments through our app, together with FAI, with the shrimp welfare assessment, they check every pond, so to provide the good indicators and also allow for comparisons, but also kind of repeating, if on a weekly basis they're repeating the welfare assessment. This is also a way of increasing the knowledge, especially among the workers. That said, with this, I think I can conclude my presentation. We are partnering with FAI with their science-backed content. We're bringing it through technology to the market. And now we all here in the audience have to work together to educate the farmers more and also provide market incentives, so that shrimp welfare, animal welfare in general, fish welfare and aquaculture gets the place in our mind, in our brain, in our heart that it deserves. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Fabian. That was an excellent presentation, as always. We are quite excited to see what the farmers are experiencing there. Very well done.